Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. Today we're gonna be having a little discussion about things that may be misunderstood or may require a little more investigation. This is not to be confused with the discussion that we had about people who are atheists or who are confused or in between religions because of whatever reason, right? Or just simply not believing because it doesn't make sense. It's not logical to them, or their bad past experiences that may have led to trauma or whatever, right? We had that conversation. Not the same, right? I wanted to, and before I even continue, I'm gonna say anything else, I want to say this. I'm not saying that one thing is right or wrong over the other. I'm not saying one thing is a fact or one thing is fiction, nor am I debating and negating any of these sacred texts, right? I am, however, investigating things that lead to confusion and the accusations of hypocrisy and just overall, decline or just a disbelief, right? I started looking at some videos. I've discussed this before, how I look at anything that is spiritually pertaining to the creator, right? So I watch tarot card readings, I watch prophetic videos, I watch videos about science, chemistry, whatever, any kind of science. And I watched these two videos, and then I realized that even within these different systems or groups or cultures, there is so much confusion because not only are we interpreting things the way we think, right? When you read something, you're interpreting it based on your knowledge, your life experience, and your interest or your perception towards that particular thing that you're reading or observing or consuming, right? This is the main part of the issue. One preacher said that, when you have dreams about people, that's you're not supposed to basically communicate with them in the dreams. And I mean dead people, people that are deceased. You are basically communicating with a demon who has familiarized themselves, and that's what a familiar spirit is. That's not my understanding of what a familiar spirit is, but it makes sense, right? And then another preacher said that when you have any kind of dreams, it can only come from God. The devil can't send you dreams, and demons can't get inside of your dreams. Okay? Both highly interesting, credible, educated preachers, right? Two different genders, two different cultures. I don't know the age group for either of them, but I do understand that the both of them have a different idea of the spiritual world, right? And they're using these books to back up what it is that they're saying, but they're not saying the same thing, right? So, and we've discussed, language, the history of language, the history of religion, and even when you consider things that may have been removed, right? Is it possible that something had been added? And I mean all of the books, right? Even the Quran. The Quran is stated to be the baby of the religion, right? And it was basically printed based off of the Bible. And if the Bible is missing over 15, 20 books, and then you have things like translation or perception, again, right? How you perceive this book or how you understand it, if that makes better sense. If you're reading this correctly, we're going to get different results and feedback. And especially when you look at culture, and I wanted to just pertain this to things that are considered blasphemy or like sacrilege, right? So like swearing on God, cursing God, cursing in a church, lying in a church, having sex before marriage, whatever, right? And again, this is going to be understood that it's also cultural. But the point that I'm making here is that it's something like murder, okay? Why would it ever be right? Especially if you are like a godly person or someone who believes that they are truly blessed and protected by the Creator in the universe. Why wouldn't God take care of that situation like He takes care of everything else? Why would you feel like you would need to murder someone? And we all can think of situations where we would say a murder is justified, right? But even that is cultural, right? I'll give you an example. Like some places, if your wife is raped or murdered, police won't even make a report of it, right? Because culturally, that's not even a thing. That's considered to be like a heinous crime. But when you go to anywhere else in the world, it's like, what? Are you crazy? So if this man wants to kill the person who killed or raped their wife, it would totally be justified. But again, that one example just shows you how culture can shape and basically mold the minds and the perception and ideals of the reality of the people there, even though you innately know that's wrong, right? Literally no one has to tell you that that is wrong. But for some reason, when you go to certain places, it's not even a big deal. The police don't even, look at this, like I said, as a heinous crime. So you have to be mindful that religion is a social construct, meaning the society, right, evolving around that religion is going to determine the rules or how that thing is constructed. I'll give you another example. The Bible, right? This is a popular one. The Bible was used to justify slavery or enforce slavery, right? Now, how, and of course, this is another cultural thing, right? Because you have people from different backgrounds who live by the Bible, right? And even the Quran. But then you'll see people who will pull out certain scriptures, certain surahs, and say, see, look. We can do this. This is permissible. This is okay. And this just goes back to your relationship with the Creator and just how you basically harmonize yourself with the environment, right? And some people might say, oh yeah, like that's common sense. No, it's not. How does your spirit feel, right? How do you feel when you're in certain situations around certain people? Because again, your culture can tell you something is okay, but you innately know that this thing is not right. So common sense isn't so common because common sense is the sense of the common person. So when you're a spiritually in tune person, whether you're religious, conscious, spiritual, I don't care, right? If you have a higher consciousness and you are willing to devote your energy in your life, in your movement to what the Creator said you should be doing, then you fit somewhere in that diagram, right? You have a different level of sense. than those who consider their senses to be common, right? Because if you're operating on a spiritual level, your senses are heightened. So your senses are not common. And that's important to understand, because we have this, ideal of what, life should be. And all of that is dictated by your culture, by your understanding of what you learn, what's in your environment. If you go to a place that's never, it's uncharted, it's like uncharted territory, right? It could be people there, they could have a language, they could have an entire culture. We would know nothing about it. So we wouldn't be able to dissect it, to figure out anything, because it's outside of our understanding. It's outside of what we're already knowledgeable of and familiar with, right? So we would have to reevaluate what it is that we assume to already understand about things. Okay? This is not, to say anyone is right or wrong. Like I said, this is just to use your senses. And this goes back to, again, your relationship with the Creator, your ability to follow your instincts, because people can tell you anything, even me, right? People can say anything that sounds good. And this is why I like to have the conversation that is spiritual, but make the connection between the physical world. Everything that I discuss, you can look it up. I'm not like here just making stuff up on a whim, right? I do actual research. The Creator gives me a topic. I do research on it. I sit and I wait, for the signs to confirm that, yeah, that's what I want you to talk about. And then I go for it. I said this before, a lot of times I want to talk about other things, but the Creator makes sure that He has me talk about what He has me talking about on that day. So yeah, but at this point, your own understanding of religion, culture, consciousness, how life should function, the sun, the moon, the stars, whatever, that is all you. Of course, people can give you advice. Of course, people can lead you in, a particular direction. But you have to make sure that that's where God wants you to go. Because when you become spiritually aware, not only do you become a target for lower level, darker entities to attack you, you also open yourself up to the spirit world that is more than the spirit world. I mean, you get to see the spiritual aspect of the 3D. And if you're not careful, you can become confused, you become lost, you start getting overwhelmed because there's so much information coming at you all at once and you're not even sure what to make of it. Again, your relationship with the Creator is key. That is the threshold you need to walk through to understand everything else. But I think that's it. Make sure you are understanding things for yourself, not just because a book said it, not because grandma told you or your mama told you. Make sure you understand things for yourself, and ask the Creator to make you understand, to expand your understanding of whatever this thing is that you need to know more about. Alright, but I'm going to end here. I do love y'all. I do hope y'all are drinking y'all water and eating y'all fruit and vegetables and sipping on y'all own tea because it's free. And getting y'all rest. Okay? And yes, we back in the swing of things. Alright? Fall season is pretty much about to be here. Alright? Love you.